What do you believe are the most important things we teach our students pertaining to research skills for beginning college students? Is there more value in spending time on the practical skills with some theoretical concepts thrown in, or should it be heavier on theoretical concepts and practical skills taught as needed? Is there a difference in which approach might work better with high school students and with college students? And Philip, did you feel confident going in as a freshman? How prepared were you to teach, or to conduct research in an academic setting?
I would say that you need both the practical and theoretical concepts interwoven, because a student must know how to correctly cite sources, their parenthetical citations. They must be able to write a works cited list appropriately, and I check for every period. I mean, they must pay attention to detail, because they have a guide sheet, so there's really no excuse that they cannot do that. I talk to them, about how to format the works cited, how it's the opposite of paragraph formatting, and show them how to do, the drop? Hanging indent. I show them how to do that on the computer so that it makes it easier, because the internet sites, you have to actually cite the URL. But once they get started, and of course a lot of them use Citation Machine or various other types of aids, but I warn them that they are responsible for the correct citation, and sometimes it's not always correct. So they need to be responsible and check to make sure it follows exactly the MLA format and the format style we're using, whether it's MLA 8, MLA 9, I think we're now using MLA 10, but whatever the professor or teacher requires, they need to follow that specific one. So I think it's important to have both theory and practicality in it. Theoretically, I think it relates more to what Erin was talking about. How do you select material that's appropriate to your topic? But we do start in 6th and 7th grade doing analysis of sources, primary, secondary sources. We do fact versus opinion. We have lessons on bias. So as they spiral up in the grade levels, they are able to do their papers in the MLA format. They're already starting to do parenthetical citations in 8th grade, and it becomes very natural for them. So I think you need both. I think you do need technical information on thought processes and how to do a good essay, and having your 3 body paragraphs and having 3 ideas that relate to each of those body paragraphs. But you also have to know the technicalities, following MLA format exactly as your professor is asking, or whatever format that they are using, because not all universities use MLA. Our parish happens to use that one. So, not only are we teaching writing, but we are integrating the research skills into the writing, and I think all of it's needed.
Well, in a way, the research is just a means to an end. So we get lost in the assignment of it, and the research becomes an end unto itself. But really, it's just a means to an end. And research skills should be applied all through life, whether you're buying a car or choosing healthcare or trying to find someone who's going to take care of your child. So all those research tools and the logic trees and those kinds of things, while they start out theoretical in nature, are truly practical. And to me, coming from the public sector now, yes, you have to have mechanics, but I don't need to fix the car to drive it. I need to know how to drive it to get from A to B, and if my car is a term paper, then I need to know the steps that I need to produce it. But ultimately, I need to know, what am I producing? What is the product, and what did it require? So if my product is that I've been assigned to do a blog post, that's totally different from a term paper, totally different from a Facebook intro, totally different from setting up a social network or maybe doing internet radio. I need to know what's the product, who's the audience, and who's my client. And usually if I'm in school, my client is my teacher. It's not my parent, it's my teacher. Now with the society today, and Philip alluded to this, in a way, our kids, what we're observing is that the new generation, they don't look for authority for information. They go peer to peer. And that's why social media, blah, 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 blah. So they're getting their information from their peers on everything, and they're contributing. And adults are doing this too. People will tweet, I have this pain. Do you think it's a gallstone? And blah, blah, blah. The celebrity that tweeted that. And I'm like, dude, you can afford to call the doctor. Why are you asking 20,000 people, anonymous faces out on the internet? But we have to think, that's what the kids are doing. That's in a way their audience. They're playing to that crowd. They should be playing to their client, who's their teacher. Later on, they'll be playing to their client, who's their boss. And whatever their product is, again, project management. What's the beginning, the middle, and the end? And eat that elephant one bite at a time.
As far as feeling confident going in as a freshman, I felt extremely confident. After that first English paper came back, not so much. Needed a little work. I'd say I was about halfway there. Time management skills needed some major work. The grammar needed a little bit of tuning up. The research skills needed a little bit of work. And you did learn very quickly that citation machine is a no-no. You get that first paper back and that citation page is torn all to pieces, and you're like, well, okay, that wasn't useful at all. And then I think one of the scariest things is about the next semester I was in a different English class, and the teacher wanted APA format, and I was like, what is this? Because I had used MLA all through high school. And so that was a scary wake-up call there too, to go, there's something besides MLA. And so I was about halfway ready.
I agree with Faye that I think the theoretical and the practical are really interwoven, and it's hard to think about separating them out. With that said, though, I think that at the college level, at least, in my experience, I feel like there's value on spending time on the theoretical and not dropping the practical, but giving students more of a chance to do the practical with less guidance, I guess. Because you guys have spoken about all the guidance that you give them for doing the practical, for doing the searches, doing the citation. And my goal in college is to get them to feel used to doing that on their own and kind of standing on their own 2 feet. So I like to break up the library. When I take my students to the library for our library session day, break it in half, where I'll spend the first half going over, this is how you do a Boolean search, or these are databases, this is what databases are, this is where you would go if you needed to find a book in the library, that sort of thing. And then in the last half, just letting them roam through the library, search on the computer by themselves, and I'll be there to come around and answer questions as they come up. And to take Mary's metaphor about the car, it's, you do need driver's ed. You need someone there, a driver instructor, to tell you this is how you start the car and how you drive it. But really, you're only going to learn by getting in the wheel and just practicing so many times until you're familiar with it. So that's my approach to it, I guess. And what I'm hoping is that it will get them to be that lifelong researcher, so that they see these skills can be translated beyond just their English paper, but to all the real life experiences that they'll need it for as well.